Hello, my name is Gary Templeton, and I'm going to describe the search wheel, which is an idea that I had for searching for missing people, uh, mainly toddlers and elderly people who cannot find their way back to a point of origin or to their caretakers on their own. The first step is to establish a geographical point of initial loss. So some geographical location, you need to know exactly where that point is and when the person was lost, exactly what time and what date. This information will be used to guide the search. The second step is to accumulate resources. This could be very simple, or it could involve an expensive search for resources. The most important resources needed are people, a large number of people, the more the better, and an object at the point of loss that everyone can see, including the search team and, of course, the person that is lost. For night searching, a beacon light that may be blinking, flashing, or may be colored, that is easily visible, is preferred. For day searching, a flag or a tree or a building that is a point of reference would be useful. It needs to be visible from long distances. And also, probably in many cases, the most useful highly visible object would be a fire. A fire can be seen easily at night, and it also can be seen at day because it smokes. And so it's useful for day and night, and therefore it may be useful, but of course you have to be practical and you have to be safe. You should also consider collecting other objects such as infrared cameras, night vision devices, four-wheelers, motorcycles, bottled water, a lot of it for the search team as well as the person being searched for, blankets, and other sources of light such as lanterns and things like that. But you shouldn't wait on all of that to begin your search. Step three involves establishing the light or some point of reference or the flag or whatever it is. And what you need to look for here is being expeditious about it. You need to maybe it's a tree, maybe it's an object that's already there. If you have to, pour concrete and build a flagpole, that's going to take too much time. So you need to be quick about it. But whether it's a flag or a light or a fire, whatever it is, this is going to be the center of your search. So it's important that it's visible throughout the entire radius of the search. Step four is to establish the radius. You're going to search in the area of a circle, and the radius is the maximum distance that the person could have traveled. Um, for example, a toddler is not going to travel nearly as far as a healthy adult who can walk an entire mile in about 20 minutes. So the distance is going to vary depending on the age and physical characteristics of the lost person. There is some simple math required. Here are two pieces of information that are important. A, convert the radius from miles to yards. So if you've determined that there's a 1 mile radius that the person could have gone, the maximum distance, then that is 1,760 yards. That's pretty simple using this table. And then the next piece of information is the distance that each searcher will search around the circle. In other words, that's an arc distance for the searcher. And that is a simple formula of 1.57 times the radius in yards in yards units. In other words, it's not 1.57 times 1 mile, it's times the 1,760 yards. Here's an example. So you have 400 searchers, and so 100 of them are on each of four teams. Based on the characteristics of the lost person, we've determined that 1 mile is the radius necessary to search. This converts to 1,760 yards as shown in the previous table. So each team is going to search an arc distance, or it's going to be a fourth of the circle. It's going to be 2,763 yards. So they're going to walk out 1,760 yards, and they're going to walk to the left 2,763 yards for 1/4 of the circle. Each searcher is going to search 2,763 divided by however many searchers there are. So if there's 100 searchers on each team, that's going to be 27.6 yards of an arc for each searcher. Step 7 is to gather all the teams, the 4 teams. Step 8 is each team starts walking outward, directly opposing another team. So team 1 goes in the opposite direction of team 3, and this is to save time. As team members walk out to the edge of the circle in this way, 2 designated searchers on each team will count yards. So for example, if you have to walk a 1-mile radius, start counting it, yard by yard up to 1,760 yards. The entire team, with the 2 people counting, can move rapidly and should move as rapidly as possible. Once the teams reach the designated number of yards, they turn to the left and start walking, with the exception of 1 team member that stays behind. The teams begin counting in terms of the team arc distance. And every time they get to the searcher arc distance, 1 searcher stops and the others continue walking. And eventually, the entire arc for each team is covered. And when the searcher reaches their spoke of the wheel, they begin walking toward the central point that should be visible. If the search fails, the teams should reassemble and do it again, perhaps using a longer radius distance, hopefully using more searchers, hopefully carrying with them sources such as water, blankets, and lighting, and being mindful of spacing these resources out throughout the search area for the person who is lost and or search members who may need it. That is the search wheel, and I hope it is successful and results in great happiness of finding people. And if you have any feedback, if you use this wheel to success, email me, or if you have any feedback, any improvements, please let me know by emailing this email address. Thank you. Bye-bye.